The tension between China and Taiwan has deep historical roots. It dates back to the Chinese Civil War in the 1940s. The conflict split the nation into two distinct entities. The Communist Party took control of mainland China. Meanwhile, the Nationalist Party retreated to Taiwan. This separation has persisted for over 7 decades. China views Taiwan as a breakaway province. They believe it should be reunited with the mainland. Taiwan, on the other hand, sees itself as an independent nation. It has its own democratic government and thriving economy. This fundamental disagreement forms the core of the ongoing dispute. In recent years, China has become more assertive in its claims over Taiwan. They have increased military exercises near the island. Chinese leaders have also made public statements about reunification. These actions have raised concerns about a potential invasion. This essay will explore how such an invasion might unfold. Economic motivations also play a role in China's stance. Taiwan is a major economic powerhouse. It's a global leader in semiconductor production. Control over Taiwan would significantly boost China's technological and economic capabilities. Political commentator, geopolitically, Taiwan's status affects China's broader ambitions. China seeks to establish itself as the dominant power in Asia. Taiwan's independence, supported by the United States, is seen as a challenge to this goal. By reclaiming Taiwan, China would remove a key U.S. ally from its immediate vicinity. Lastly, there's the matter of precedent and internal politics. The Chinese Communist Party has long promised reunification with Taiwan. To achieve this, China would likely employ a combination of air, sea, and cyber attacks. These would be coordinated to maximize impact and minimize Taiwan's ability to respond. Expert analyst. The first phase of the invasion would likely focus on disabling Taiwan's command and control systems. This would involve cyber attacks on key infrastructure. Communication networks, power grids, and military installations would be prime targets. Simultaneously, China would likely launch missile strikes. These would target Taiwan's air defense systems, radar installations, and military bases. Expert analyst. Following these initial strikes, China would likely attempt to establish air and sea superiority. This would involve deploying fighter jets and naval vessels to the Taiwan Strait. The goal would be to prevent Taiwan from receiving external support. China has been rapidly expanding its naval capabilities in recent years. Expert analyst. The final phase would involve a massive amphibious landing. China would deploy troops, tanks, and other military hardware to Taiwan's beaches. This would be the most challenging and risky part of the operation. Simultaneously, China would launch a coordinated cyber attack. This would target Taiwan's critical infrastructure. Power grids, communication networks, and financial systems could all be affected. Chinese military officer. These cyber attacks could also extend to psychological warfare. Disinformation campaigns could be used to sow confusion among the Taiwanese population. China's People's Liberation Army, PLA, would also likely deploy special forces units. These could be inserted into Taiwan covertly before the main invasion. Their role would be to sabotage key facilities and gather intelligence. Chinese military officer. The effectiveness of these initial strikes would be crucial. If successful, they could significantly hamper Taiwan's ability to defend itself. Section 5. Taiwan's response. Preparing for the inevitable. Taiwan has long been aware of the threat of invasion from China. As a result, they have developed a comprehensive defense strategy. This strategy, known as the Porcupine Approach, aims to make invasion as costly and difficult as possible for China.
The idea is to turn the island into a fortress, bristling with defensive capabilities like a porcupine's quills. A key part of Taiwan's strategy is its network of underground facilities. These include hardened bunkers and tunnels that can withstand missile attacks.
Many of Taiwan's military assets, including aircraft and missiles, can be hidden in these facilities. Taiwan has also invested heavily in mobile missile systems. These can be quickly deployed and are harder for China to target.
Taiwan's military doctrine emphasizes asymmetric warfare. They know they can't match China's military might head-on. Instead, they focus on tactics that can exploit China's weaknesses. This includes anti-ship missiles to target Chinese naval vessels.
Taiwan has also been strengthening its reserve forces. The goal is to be able to mobilize a large civilian defense force quickly. In the event of an invasion, Taiwan's immediate response would be to activate all its defense systems. Section 6. Amphibious assault. The core of the invasion. The amphibious assault would be the most critical and challenging phase of China's invasion plan. This operation would involve landing a large number of troops and equipment on Taiwan's shores. It would be one of the largest and most complex military operations in modern history.
China has been rapidly expanding its amphibious capabilities in recent years. They've built new amphibious assault ships and landing craft. These vessels are designed to transport troops, tanks, and other heavy equipment. China would likely use a combination of air-cushioned landing craft and conventional ships. They would aim to land forces at multiple points along Taiwan's coast simultaneously.
The timing of the amphibious assault would be crucial. China would need to coordinate it with their initial strikes and air superiority operations. They would aim to land troops before Taiwan could fully mobilize its defenses.
Once troops are on the ground, the operation would shift to a more conventional ground war. Chinese forces would aim to establish beachheads and then push inland. They would likely target key cities and strategic points.
Section 7. Taiwan's defense systems, a formidable challenge. Taiwan's defense systems pose a significant challenge to any potential invasion. Over decades, Taiwan has developed a sophisticated network of defenses. These are designed to make an invasion as difficult and costly as possible.
One of Taiwan's key defensive assets is its air force. While smaller than China's, it's well-equipped and highly trained. Taiwan operates a fleet of modern fighter jets, including F-16s. These could pose a serious threat to Chinese air and naval forces.
Taiwan has also invested heavily in air defense systems. These include Patriot missile batteries and indigenous systems like the Skybow. Taiwan's navy, though smaller than China's, is also formidable. It operates a fleet of modern warships and submarines.
Taiwan has also developed advanced anti-ship missiles. These could pose a significant threat to Chinese invasion fleets. On land, Taiwan has a well-equipped army and a large reserve force.
Section 8. International reactions, global powers on alert. An invasion of Taiwan by China would trigger significant international reactions. The U.S. response would be crucial. The U.S. has long maintained strategic ambiguity regarding Taiwan. Many believe the U.S. would intervene in some capacity. The U.S. has significant military assets in the region.
Other regional powers would also respond. Japan would be particularly concerned. Australia might also become involved.
Section 9. Expert opinions. Analyzing the potential outcome. Military experts and geopolitical analysts have long debated the potential outcome of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Opinions vary widely, reflecting the complexity of the situation. Some experts believe China could quickly overwhelm Taiwan's defenses. Others argue that Taiwan could hold out for an extended period, possibly long enough for international intervention. One school of thought emphasizes China's overwhelming military superiority. Admiral James Stavridis, former Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, has stated that China could potentially subdue Taiwan in a matter of days. He points to China's massive numerical advantage in troops and equipment.
Other experts are more skeptical of China's chances for a quick victory. Ian Easton, a senior director at the Project 2049 Institute, argues that Taiwan's defenses are stronger than many realize. He points out that an amphibious invasion is one of the most challenging military operations. Taiwan's geography and prepared defenses would make it even more difficult.
Section 10. The human cost impact on Taiwanese citizens. Any invasion of Taiwan would have devastating consequences for the island's 23 million inhabitants. The human cost of such a conflict would be immense. It's crucial to consider this aspect when analyzing the potential for invasion. The suffering of civilians often gets overlooked in strategic discussions. However, it's a critical factor in understanding the full impact of such a conflict. In the initial stages of an invasion, Taiwanese civilians would face immediate dangers. Missile strikes and bombing raids could cause significant casualties. Critical infrastructure like hospitals and power plants might be damaged or destroyed. This could lead to a humanitarian crisis. Access to food, water, and medical care could become severely limited. The psychological trauma of living under constant threat would also be significant.
As the conflict progressed, the situation for civilians could worsen. If fighting moves into urban areas, the danger to non-combatants would increase dramatically. Modern urban warfare is notoriously destructive. It often results in high civilian casualties. There would likely be a significant refugee crisis.
Section 11. Conclusion: Global implications and future uncertainties. The potential invasion of Taiwan by China would have far-reaching consequences. It would reshape the geopolitical landscape of East Asia and beyond. The outcome of such a conflict would have profound implications for global power dynamics. It would test the resolve of the United States and its allies. It could potentially lead to a realignment of international relationships.
Economically, the impact would be severe. Taiwan plays a crucial role in global supply chains, particularly in the semiconductor industry.